A Black executive perspective now presents Need to Know with the award-winning hyphenated Dr. Nsenga Burton. Dr. Burton, what do we need to know?
Good afternoon and welcome to Need to Know with Dr. Nsenga Burton. I am she. Today I want to talk to you about our current political climate. It is, to say the least, a whole mess. It is chaos filled. What I need you to know is historical facts. That's what I need you to know. Yesterday was the 5th anniversary of the insurrection, and we got rolled out just the biggest pile of poo. Gaslighting 101 from our nation's leader, 47. Somehow they have managed to make these insurrectionists who engaged in a seditious act. It was also a violent act. It resulted in the deaths of multiple people, including police officers, Capitol police officers. I'm still waiting to see where's the blue wall? Where's the blue line? Where are the police officers? How come they don't have anything to say about this president who is maligning their fellow officers and pretending as if this was not a real incident, that this was a quote peaceful protest? Where are they? Where are the police unions? They don't have nothing to say about the safety of their people. They don't have anything to say about the fact that the average salary of a police officer is $25,000 a year, but they will take these convicted felons who are now pardoned and give them $100,000 a year to pretend to be police officers. They don't have nothing to say about that. I just find it fascinating. Just fascinating. The silence is deafening. But I digress. My point is this. The reason that it's important to know history is so that when people rewrite it, you know what actually happened. There are people who were not born, who did not exist 5 years ago. So they are getting this information from more than likely television or media, some other form of media. Yeah, at 5 years old. I know you're thinking I'm okay, or 2-3 years old. They take all that stuff in, if not from their cult member parents, who for some reason there are so many people out here who still want to follow 47. I guess they're gonna follow him to hell. But there are so many people out here who need good information. It's one thing to rewrite the history of the presidents that served before you. I don't know if you have seen that story where this administration has gone through and changed the placards of the presidents that came before them and really diminished, maligned, and demeaned their biographies, and I would say their history. That was a bridge too far. Erasing whole groups of people, women, LGBTQ folks, Black folks, veterans. 65% of veterans voted for 47, just so you know. 65%. Erasing veterans from the website. And now putting up this false narrative about what happened on January 6th. And then lying on the vice president whose life was threatened on January 6th. And then he came out with the weakest statement I've ever seen. I thank God he never became president, Mike Pence. Because I was like, do Republicans just not stand up to other Republicans? I mean, I live in Georgia, so I've seen it in real time. Like, they threatening your life, they calling your wife ugly, like all kinds of stuff. And they're just sitting there like, not saying anything, and then like, okay, just keep, whatever legislation he says we need, let's go ahead and do it, even though he thinks we're stupid enough to overturn our election. I mean, I've seen it in real time. It's unreal to me. Like, I was like, where are the people, the Republicans who are going to stand up to this person? Where are the Republicans who were hiding with the Democrats from these people, this mob, this violent mob who came there to do lots of different things, right? They had guns. They had ties. Mr. Miyagi! Mr. Miyagi! Hush. I mean it. Hush. Hush. So to try to pretend that this did not happen and that this situation was not an insurrection. It absolutely was. But see, this is the same country where we try to pretend like the Confederate War, the war where the Confederates lost. And we try to pretend like they were patriots and that they didn't really lose. It was a lost cause, but they didn't lose the war. And the war was about this. It was about pride. It wasn't about slavery and all that stuff. When you allow these grand narratives that are based in mythology and don't acknowledge the facts, the Confederate soldiers were traitors. They engaged in seditious acts, and they should have all been taken out. That's just how I feel. This is what happens when you not only allow them to live, you also give them money, free land, all kinds of things to make them feel better about being horrible people. And then you allow them to control the narrative of what really happened when we know what really happened. They lost the war, and they should have been punished for sedition, period. The same thing happened. They lost this attempt at an overthrow, and they should have been punished, including 45. And they weren't punished appropriately. Okay? They were allowed to go home. And I'm not talking about them later being convicted and all of that. Yeah, the justice system did work at some point. But the fact that many of them went home and were home in time for dinner, their friends were calling and telling on them because they saw them at the PTA meeting. I mean, just crazy stuff. They were allowed to leave after they had done this terrible, heinous act is why we're here. The fact that they were allowed to be pardoned by 47, who himself is a convicted felon and should not be in office, is why we're here. And so when you allow people to continue to tell lies, Thanksgiving, it's a lie. It's a lie. All right. Native Americans, cowboys, lies of how we treated Native Americans. It's all lies of how the indigenous folks have been treated in this country. It's friendship. They came together. They celebrated. So when you allow dominant narratives, and this is what we call grand narratives in academia, and I know you all don't respect academics, so, whatever. You can take it or leave it. It is true. This is when you allow grand narratives that are based on dominant ideologies that underscore or support white racism, white racist ideologies that are usually couched in Christian nationalist religious doctrine. That is what happens. This is what happens when you allow all of those things to happen. You get 47 in office and his minions, because that's what they are, rewriting history and pretending that things didn't happen and saying, oh, we have this dictator over here. We have to go free the people, knowing full well they want the oil. Been after the oil forever. You're a dictator trying to arrest a dictator. And the reason you can do that is because we don't acknowledge the ICC, the International Criminal Court, their jurisdiction. So they can't come get him the way that they would come get Chavez if he did the opposite. I said Chavez, I meant Maduro. But, same dictator. And just because they are dictators and they are not great people doesn't mean that they are not a sovereign nation and that they don't deserve justice. Doesn't mean that. All right, you can be two things at the same time. My point is this. What you need to know is that the guardrails are down. There are no guardrails. There are no guardrails. Nobody is coming to save us. The United Nations, they're a peacekeeping body. They're not coming. The ICC, we don't recognize the jurisdiction. It's not going to happen. When you are as powerful as the U.S. is, there is no one who wants to take on the U.S. Maybe Canada. But there are very few who want to take on the U.S. All right. And there are a few allies who are going to go against the U.S. And even Russia and China have called for Maduro's release. And up until recently, I don't know about you, but it looked like they were boys, right? Putin and Trump are boys. All right. But I guess not when it comes to this oil. All right. So what you need to know is that nobody's coming to save us. We have to do it ourselves. And so we need to be paying attention to what is happening and figuring out what we can do. Of course, we know we can vote in the midterm elections, but they're far away. And this country could be non-existent by then. Not trying to be alarmist, but stuff is happening real fast. So I'm just saying, if we make it to the midterms, and then we got to assume that we're going to have midterms because this president is being allowed to do whatever he wants to do, regardless of how it impacts taxpayers, citizens, the people we're supposed to care about. Supposed to be staying here in the U.S., paying attention to what's here in the U.S. That's what he ran on, getting out of all that international stuff where we were so worried, oh, we're going to be an isolationist country. No worries. Now his eyes are on Greenland. Okay. So all that talk about what's going to do the price of gas going down. Nope. Groceries. Nope. We don't have health care. We got a damn flu pandemic that nobody's calling a pandemic, but it is a pandemic happening, and nothing is being done about it. All right. We're making people who don't have insurance pay for the flu shot when we should just be giving it away at this point. I mean, it is what it is. We're just allowing 47 and the administration to do whatever they want because they are backed up not only by Congress, but also by the Supreme Court. So there are no guardrails. That's what you need to know. There are no guardrails. There are no checks and balances. No one is coming to save us. We have got to save ourselves. So yeah, you got to vote in the midterms, but you also got to lobby. You got to make sure that you have your provisions in place. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be mindful of your travel plans if you have any. You have got to commit to not letting another fool like this in office ever again. That's probably going to take the rest of the 3 years to deprogram some of you cult members. But yeah, get yourselves together because it's going to be rough. You thought it was bad. I guess y'all forgot. I guess it wasn't bad enough. I guess it wasn't bad enough. It made me sad to see the Capitol, people trying to overthrow the Capitol for 45 of all people. Because he was a terrible president the first time. And horrific this time. Horrific. And we're not even halfway through this term. But the emails and the lady with the funny name was too much for you. Oh my God, her laugh. I don't know if I can vote for her. Her laugh just gets on my nerves. Oh. Okay. All right, well, we got the country that we deserve. Well, I don't think I deserve it. I think many people who vote against this shit don't deserve it. But this is what you all wanted. Well, I don't know. Let me not be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not convinced because I haven't met anybody, even Republicans, who will admit that they voted for this fool. So I'm just saying, we got a fool in office, a tool, whatever word, pick a synonym. And nobody is coming to save you. So you have got to have your eye on the ball. Save your money. Stop spending everything you have because we don't know what's going to happen. Because we never know what's going to happen. Every time we wake up, there's something new. Just like the last time, something chaotic and crazy has happened. So who knows what's going to happen by the end of the day? It's 11:30. So I fully expect by the time I watch the evening news, something crazy is going to have happened. It's like twice a day. All right. So you need to know that you have to take care of yourself and you have to look out for yourself and you have to be prepared to protect yourself. All right. So tune in next week to Need to Know with Dr. Nsenga Burton, and I will come to you with some other things I think you need to know. Of course, you need to check out, I think you need to know that you need to check out Tony and Chris's show on the Black Executive Perspective podcast. They're doing great work, and their voices are needed in this very, very crowded mediascape. All right. So take care of yourself. Stay focused. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you have a real ID, because I know somebody's saying, like, what do I need to do? Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you have a real ID. Make sure you have an actual passport. Make sure you have an actual passport. Make sure you have some money saved. Make sure that you can afford to travel by more than one mode of transportation. All right. And make sure, especially those traveling abroad, you keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Because currently the U.S. is public enemy number one. All right. Have a great day. Bye.
A Black Executive Perspective.